Hey everyone, this is author Anthony Avina, and welcome to my channel. Today, I've been doing tags lately. This isn't going to be technically a tag, it's actually going to be a special edition of my top 10 list. Halloween edition, I should say. With Halloween coming up, I thought I'd give you guys the top 10 of all the different forms of entertainment that involve Halloween. Anything horror related, anything scary or spooky or just creepy to think about. So without further ado, here are my top 10s for Halloween. Let's start with movies. Number 10, VHS. Very creepy film. It's a compilation of different stories, all used with the VHS recorder. These guys break into this house and find a bunch of VHS tapes, and each tape contains a different horror story. And you're supposed to believe that it's true, that these things are actually things that were caught on film. It's very creepy. The first one in the film is especially chilling. You have to watch it just to believe it. So that's number 10. Number 9 is 28 Days Later. One of my favorite zombie films of all time. Stars Cillian Murphy and takes place in Europe. And the zombies just are super fast. They run like non-stop, and it's just when they pop up, they creep the hell out of you. That's number 9. Number 8 is Friday the 13th remake with Jared Padalecki and Daniel Panabaker. Of course, the remakes nowadays are much more gruesome, in your face. They really know how to sell it. It was just a great film. Very well done. There are a lot of remakes nowadays of classic films that just don't pan out. I just heard that Sam Rockwell's will be doing the Poltergeist remake. I'm interested to see it. I hope it does well, because the original Poltergeist was just a great film. So I hope they do that well. Number 7, Nightmare on Elm Street remake. This one stars Jackie Earle Haley as freaking Freddy Krueger. I mean, just a twisted character. He plays it so well, and just gives you the chills just thinking about it. And Rooney Mara is the main girl in it. Very chilling. Actually, Katie Cassidy, I think, is in it as well. So a lot of people in it. A lot of people you recognize. Thomas Dekker in it. But yeah, that's my number 7 film. Number 6 is Poltergeist, of course, as I mentioned before, classic film. Number 5, Rob Zombie's Halloween. I love the classic. Classic is classic for a reason. You can't go wrong with the classic. But of course, Rob Zombie being Rob Zombie, he's just so brutal, man, and he brings such brutality to the Michael Myers character, and it's so real, very realistic Michael Myers. Just no emotion, no empathy whatsoever. Really gives you a great insight into how Michael Myers became Michael Myers. So yeah, the original Rob Zombie film, Halloween, definitely check out. In keeping with the Rob Zombie thing, number 4 on my list is House of a Thousand Corpses, and number 3 is The Devil's Rejects, which is the sequel to House of a Thousand Corpses. Now, this story is very unique. Involves kind of like a Texas Chainsaw thing. It's a family of killers, very twisted individuals. I had the pleasure last night of going to Rob Zombie's Great American Nightmare, and I got to go through the different mazes, and it was true to the House of a Thousand Corpses film. Really creepy, really in your face. Loved every second of it. So, yeah, scared the crap out of me. So I highly recommend going to that, and I highly recommend watching these 2 films. Number 2 on my list is the film Descent. If you're claustrophobic, this is definitely going to scare the crap out of you. Let alone what happens once you're down in these caves. These group of females, I think they're in America, but they're British. they all decide to go, rock climbing and down into these caves, and it's very tight spaces, and they get trapped. But once they're down there, they realize they're not alone. There are these, creatures that live in the dark, and they're nasty looking. Sorry, Charlie's right here. They're nasty looking. They don't have any sight, so you have to not make a sound. Otherwise, they'll know where you're at, and they'll descend on you. They're cannibals. Nasty, nasty things. And finally, my favorite horror film of all time is actually the entire Paranormal Activity series. A lot of people put this down, but being a believer in the paranormal myself, each film gets scarier to me. I think my favorite is the third one as far as scare factor. Of course, the original Paranormal Activity you can't go wrong with this because it's such a low budget. It does so well. But yeah, those are my favorite films. Top 10 Halloween themed songs now. Number 10 is Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Kickers. Charlie, ain't nobody. Sorry, I guess you, Charlie. This kind of scene. Charlie wanted to be on TV. Oh, Charlie. So, let's get back to our list. Number 9, The Halloween Theme by John Carpenter. Of course, that's a classic Halloween. I mean, it is Halloween, of course. Number 8, Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood and the Destroyers. Anyone who's seen Terminator will know this song. This is the song that plays in Terminator 2 when, what's his name? Arnold Schwarzenegger kicks the biker's butt and takes all his clothes. He's bad to the bone. Number 7 is a classic, Witchcraft by Frank Sinatra. You can't go wrong with Frank Sinatra, and it's a great song. Number 6, I Put a Spell on You by Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Number 5 is Dead Man's Party by Oingo Boingo. Oingo Boingo is one of my favorite all-time 80s bands. Of course, led by great musician Danny Elfman, who is now mostly known for his work in film, doing the scores for a lot of films, and especially Tim Burton's films, but a lot of different films. But yeah, Dead Man's Party is just a great song. Number 4 is Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. Classic, of course, them. Number 3 is actually a new song that I've talked a lot about in my vlogs lately. It just came out. It's called Dead or Alive by Taryn Southern. She's a YouTuber, and she's got a fantastic voice. And while it's a very sad, emotional song, it is also related to The Walking Dead. Very zombie-esque. So, great horror, great song to listen to on Halloween, I think. Number 2 is Down with the Sickness by Disturbed. Just really raw, in-your-face, powerful song. I first heard it with the movie Dawn of the Dead. Great song, I love it. It's one of my favorite all-time songs. And number 1, can you guys guess? It's pretty much number 1 for everyone, I think. It's Thriller by Michael Jackson. You can't go wrong with Thriller. It's a classic for a reason. Everyone plays it. If you go on Halloween Day without hearing it, I'll be shocked. So that's my top 10 for now, books. I'm a writer. I also am a reader. I love reading books. So here are my top 10 horror books. It by Stephen King. Anyone who knows Stephen King knows It is the evil clown. Both in the miniseries and the original book, he's a very twisted clown called Pennywise. I hate clowns, so that scares the crap out of me. Number 9, Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice. The film, of course, was with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and Kirsten Dunst. But the book is very well written, very creepy, very bloody. Number 8 are the original Grimm's Fairy Tales by the Brothers Grimm. Anyone who loves horror, these are the stories that started most of them. All the fairy tales that you think you know, They're a lot grimier and dirtier in the original books, the stories. Number 7 is the Moonlight Bay series with the books Fear Nothing and Seize the Night by Dean Koontz. This involves a guy who can't go out in daylight because of a rare skin condition. But while he, in his little hometown of Moonlight Bay, while he's walking around at night, he notices that there's these animals that have been altered genetically. And he has to deal with that while, being with the woman he loves and his best friend and his loyal dog. Which I love about Dean Koontz. I love that he includes his pets in the story. Number 6, Pet Cemetery by Stephen King. Especially scary because it involves creepy little kid. Just leave it at that. Gage Creed, so creepy. Number 5 is The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. Classic. If you don't know it, I looked it up because it's actually a short story by Edgar Allan Poe. I'm sure it's up there somewhere. Number 4 is A Blast from My Past when I was a little kid. Goosebumps by R.L. Stine. Very creepy, kept me up at night. I had a lot of his books. I watched the original show, and of course, one of the scariest ones is any story that involved that creepy ventriloquist doll thing, Slappy. Ugh, hated it. Number 3 is Dracula, the original Dracula story by Bram Stoker. Enough said about that. Number 2 is the Talisman Black House books by Stephen King and Peter Straub. A lot of that first book, The Talisman, involves fantasy elements, but there's some really creepy moments in that. The scariest of those 2 books is Black House. Involves creepy old serial killer pedophile dude taking kids, and the hero from the first book, who was a 12-year-old kid in the first book, is now grown up and an adult. And this killer actually is taking these kids to a place that the main character from the first book went to in the first book. And he has to stop him. So it's very, very creepy. The main bad guy, the killer in that, is just terrifying. Especially because the character itself is just so realistic. You can imagine this in real life with our world being what it is. That by the time you get to the fantasy elements of it, you're still freaked out by this guy. Finally, of course, number 1 is The Shining by Stephen King. Old rundown hotel, family stranded in the hotel by a snowstorm while they're caretaking the hotel. Father starts losing his mind, little kid sees dead people. I mean, it's got everything you could ever want in a horror. Now on to the top 10 horror video games. You guys know I'm a big video game enthusiast. I love playing scary games because you're like living the scary moments. You're not just reading it or watching it. You're actually walking through the scary stuff. So number 10 is Alice the Madness Returns, which is a horror take on the Alice in Wonderland series by Lewis Carroll. Or is it Carroll Lewis? You guys know. Number 9 is a game that I just recently discovered this year, Slender, the 8 Pages. And it's just an internet myth, of course, that got started a long time ago, but the Slender Man is just so spooky and scary. I'm actually thinking of starting to play that this week for Halloween. Number 8 is Alan Wake. It's an original tale that's very Stephen King inspired. It's about a writer who must go on a journey to find his wife after she disappears and battles these evil creatures. It's set up kind of like a TV show. Each level of the game is an episode of the show. So it's very cool and very scary. Number 7 is the Resident Evil series that involves zombies and mutated creatures and people with whose heads split open to reveal teeth. I mean, it's nasty. but it's cool. Number 6 is the Silent Hill series. Involves this town of Silent Hill, cut off from the rest of the world, kind of exists in its own little space of time and dimensions, filled with horrible people and creatures. And each game you just have to survive Silent Hill, and you have to try and find a way out, otherwise you'll be stuck there. Number 5, a game that came out this year, The Last of Us, for the PS3. They're not exactly zombies. It's like an apocalypse tale where these people and creatures are around trying to kill you, and you play a guy trying to help a young girl survive the world. And all right, number 4 is BioShock 1 and 2. The new game that came out this year, BioShock Infinite, is not really horror. I think it was because it was in a much brighter environment and didn't involve the bad guys that the first two did. BioShock 1 and 2 involved splicers and big daddies and creepy little girls who took DNA out of people. I mean, it was messed up. So that's number 4. Number 3 is the Dead Space series, one of the more bloody, gruesome games, game series in the horror genre. Involves space exploration, discovering artifacts that are driving people insane, and bringing the dead back to life as these like bloodthirsty creatures, kind of like zombies, but they're nastier. Number 2 is Condemned 1 and 2. The original Condemned, focusing on an FBI agent trying to hunt down a serial killer, and turns out there's more supernatural elements to it. The second one, following that character after the events of the first one, he's addicted to drugs, and he's and alcohol, and he's just trying to survive, and then he gets pulled into that world again. There's a lot of serial killers and very creepy people involved in that one. And finally, for me, the scariest video game series of all time is the Fear series. Again, creepy little kids, a creepy little girl who kills people, creepy serial killer who eats people involved, clone soldiers who are controlled telepathically by the cannibal killer. I mean, very, very dark, gruesome tale, and the story itself is just fantastic. I would love to see this be made into a film, the entire series. Finally, top 10 horror themed TV shows. Number 10 is Angel, Josh Whedon, spin-off show of the Buffy series. Follows vampire Angel, who's a vampire with a soul, and he's got to try and save and help the people of Los Angeles fight some of these creatures. Number 9, The Vampire Diaries. Unless you've been living under a rock, you'll know most of these shows. So, Vampire Diaries. Number 8 is Teen Wolf on MTV. I love that show. I watched the original movie, so I was very surprised that they made it a drama, but it just works out well. Number 7 is a classic Showtime anthology series, Masters of Horror, where all of the big names in horror, both directors and writers, came together and would write hour-long stories that they would showcase. Especially this one called Jennifer, very gruesome, very scary, very creepy. Number 6, of course, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV series, with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Allison Hannigan and Charisma Carpenter, a whole lot of people. Great series. I love it. I've watched it twice already. From the first season to the 7th. Number 5, True Blood. Of course, True Blood. You know who's in that. What it's about. Very bloody, gruesome, in your face. I love it. Number 4, Being Human on Sci-Fi, the American version. I haven't seen the British version, but the American version. Very good. It's funny in certain parts, and then you got the horror elements, really bad guys, and nasty, transformations. You got a werewolf, a vampire, and a ghost living together. A lot of drama. It's a great show. Supernatural, one of my all-time favorite shows. Two brothers are hunters who go hunting down monsters and demons and everything. And there are a lot of different creatures every week. So it's very refreshing and good. Number 2 is American Horror Story, who just started his 3rd season. Each season is a different story with all the actors playing different roles each season. Jessica Lange, of course, being the main actress in it. She's phenomenal. She's always been phenomenal in all her work. But now that she's coming up towards the end of her career, she's just really broken out. I think she's going out in style when she finally finishes. Sorry, that's awesome. When she finally finishes show. And finally, number 1, The Walking Dead. This speaks for itself. It's a great series. It's coming up on its 4th season right now on AMC. With Breaking Bad gone, this show is just poised to really draw that audience in and become one of the top shows on television, in my opinion at least. Gruesome zombies. Each week is not just heartbreaking and emotional, but it's scary. Millions of zombies just walking around. No matter how hard you try, they just keep coming. That's a scary thought to me. So yeah. Alright guys, that was my top 10 edition, Halloween edition. My list of all the top 10 stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Damn, 22 minutes, sorry. I'm trying to be more realistic in these little vlogs, so if you hear me cuss, that's just natural. It's not me forcing it. Shit, damn it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. I love Halloween. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. Halloween and Christmas are my 2 favorite holidays. This year I'm hoping to finally be able to go out and celebrate Halloween out in the world. I'll be taking pictures when it's all ready, but I actually got some SOA gear to make it look like I'm part of the Sam Crow crew. So I'm looking forward to Halloween this year especially. Looking forward to celebrating it. I hope to see some of you guys out there. I'll be probably tweeting and Facebooking what I'm going to be doing officially. And that's it. Yeah, Halloween. I love it. Let's see, question of the day. What are your Halloween plans, and what are you going to dress up as? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be sure to check out your guys' responses and trying to respond back to you guys. Everyone, of course, who's watching this, if you're going out for Halloween, just be safe. Stay in groups. A lot of crazy people out there who take this holiday from the good-natured fun it should be to downright terrifying. So just try and stay together, be safe. No drinking and driving for those of you partying. That's my worry fatherly instinct talking right now. That's done now. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and that's a little insight into who I am, what I love about Halloween, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.